It's a rare person who can be an active scholar who is deeply immersed in the literature, who's critical about what's going on and absolutely informed. Then there's the person who has a very active practice, making buildings, doing design, and then there's the person who has a responsibility and role in the classroom. And I think Professor Baird has managed to balance those three distinct but interrelated duties, responsibilities, obligations, in this sort of wonderful, sort of continually mutually beneficial loop.
From this point of view, George could be seen as an endangered species or a kind of complex figure that today is put in question by a higher degree of specialization and a higher degree of separation between the academia and the real world.
One of George's gifts is that he brings to teaching balance, and that's one of the things that we talk about, is the ability to have programs that are alive and rich with theoretical discussions, but nonetheless remain interested in problems of building, how you actually make buildings.
Well, I think the thing about George is that he brought to the school a way of looking at architecture in a cultural context.
So George was part of a new generation that we didn't know that much about.
This is George Baird in London, photograph taken by Elizabeth. And then this is also George Baird a couple years later, where we've seen this remarkable sort of Mick Jagger-esque transformation. The swinging London had its profound effects on Professor Baird.
All the really hot lectures took place at the University of Toronto, and they were all organized by George because he knew all of the players, and as a result they were able to share their ideas with students.
He's probably got the best gossip in the world of architecture, and he shares it with us all, and also he's very kind.
I've learned some things from George in terms of how a school is run and what a role a school can play in its immediate context.
He sees the city as a primary teaching tool. It itself is the laboratory.
You know that when he's talking about the subject that he's really enjoying talking about the subject.
He's an agent of change, and he changed the way that urban planners and urban theorists and historic preservationists and architects and students of architecture thought about what they did. So yes, he was the absolute perfect person for the responsibilities that he undertook.